Crude oil making some big swings midday after the Saudi energy minister said that OPEC Plus may have to cut back on oil production if the volatility and liquidity issues continue. For more on what this could mean for the energy market, we're joined by CNBC contributor Helima Croft. She is also RBC Capital Markets head of global commodity strategy. She might have taken a nap midday too, because I saw you at 5 a.m.
Yes, I'm back.
You are at the same spot. So, do we believe OPEC Plus?
Well, I think Prince Abdulaziz caught the market by surprise because we just had this rather token increase of 100,000 barrels at the last OPEC meeting. You know, President Biden had been to Saudi Arabia. I think the expectation was that we might have OPEC holding steady, but I don't think people thought a cut was potentially on the table. So I think Prince Abdulaziz has always said he does not like, volatility in markets. He's very concerned about liquidity, but I do think today's statement caught people by surprise.
What does it even mean? The previous issue had been it's tough to produce if you've got bottlenecks and things like that. What is this liquidity, blah, blah, these concerns? What that sounds like just gobbledygook, is it?
No, I mean, if you look at, we've had, major liquidation of net length in the market. And from the standpoint of Prince Abdulaziz, he thinks that is exacerbating these swings in the market. And he basically says the market is probably tighter from a physical market standpoint than where we are in terms of price. That said, I think the real interesting question is going to be, does this really translate into any production policy change? Because you're right, the big issue with OPEC was OPEC is not hitting its production targets. Right. They are potentially, 2 million barrels plus underperformance, mainly because of countries like Nigeria, like Angola. The question is, are we really going to see in the next couple sets of meetings barrels coming off because Saudi Arabia and UAE and the other producers want to cut back on production? And
then the wild card's Iran. And from certain areas, I'm seeing, the president's ready to give away the store again on concessions to Iran. Will there be a deal, and how much oil would that be?
Well, administration officials are saying that there still are these hurdles that need to be overcome in order to get a deal done, but that they are closer than they were even a week ago. But the big issue that I think needs to be focused on is, even if President Biden signs off and says we're ready to do this, it goes to Congress. And I think that's going to be a very, very bruising political fight over this deal, especially because you just had Salman Rushdie stabbed. You had the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard members, arrested for plotting to assassinate John Bolton. I don't think it's going to be an easy process to get it through Congress.
Helima, how about spare capacity, though? Even if Saudi and the U.S. were all in the same spot and we wanted them to deliver a lot more oil to the market, what could they actually do? And isn't that ultimately really where the rubber hits the road? I
mean, this issue on spare capacity is real. I mean, we're probably looking at, 1.5 to 2 million barrels of spare capacity within OPEC. And this market has been held up because you have this major U.S. SPR release. I mean, we've been putting about 1 million extra barrels on this market. What happens when that release winds down? It's set to wind down sometime end of October, beginning of November. And then I think the most important story for the market is actually December 5th. Does Europe pull the trigger on these Russia sanctions? If they pull the trigger and basically do the embargo and also ban the provision of shipping and insurance services, if the U.S. goes forward with banning dollar clearing for this product, that means a tighter market. But Europe is facing an economic nightmare right now. And the question is, look at where natural gas prices are. Look at what's going to happen in terms of industrial shut-ins and rationing. Is Europe going to go forward with these sanctions? That, to me, is the wild card.
Guy.
Yeah, Helima, crude oil makes all the headlines, and I totally get it. By the way, I'm with you on that. But nat gas, to me, is the one that nobody's talking about nearly enough. And, you look at the input costs for industry, nat gas is pretty high on that list. So if we think inflation is tame, nat gas is telling a much different story. What do you think of that? I mean,
I think nat gas is the most important story to be watching right now in this market. I mean, look what is happening where we just keep breaking previous highs in terms of natural gas. The Russians are once again threatening to halt flows through Nord Stream 1 at the end of the month. I mean, I think we have to fully expect that Russia is going for a mutually assured destruction strategy with Europe. You impose these sanctions on us on December 5th. You continue to support Ukraine. We are going to make this absolutely awful for you. So I think this is probably the most important economic story to watch, is what happens in Europe, what happens with natural gas if Russia really turns off the taps completely.
All right, thanks, Helima. Let's trade this. Who wants to? I would buy 50% of Oxy if I.
Well,
that might be my.
and someone else might too. So let Steve talk for a second, because I think Steve's got a view. I tend to think that all of the issues that Halima's outlining here are ones that don't rectify themselves anytime soon. And even on a demand side, I think supply right now is more important.
So
energy
back when crude was in the 120 range, I had thought that the politics of the trade were going to come in at the end of the year. So I put a $65 target on WTI crude. That was when we were in 120 something.
Right.
So we're down to roughly $90, that area. I think the midterm elections, I think that the politics will still come in, and we'll see crude just break down. And I think we're looking at $65, $75 a barrel oil. But I do agree that there is a sort of fictitious level that we're pushing this down to, and Tim points this out all the time. This administration was teeing off on crude and fossil fuels. It was rallying long before Russia, Ukraine. So there's some underlying ideological views that is pushing the price of crude up.
And back to Berkshire and Occidental, I mean, one of the things that makes Oxy so attractive is they paid down an enormous amount of debt. This is a cash flow generative company. And M&A throughout the sector, I think, has just begun. And it's beginning because, again, companies are free cash flow positive. They're able to actually make accretive deals, and they're not doing the deals that they were doing 10 years ago. So I just get back to, when I look at a ConocoPhillips or I look at an Exxon, and these are obviously the biggest integrated oil companies in the world, they're run differently. And I think you can be an investor in energy much differently. And I think the geopolitics are a tailwind. But I think you can own these as equity investors, and the weighting of the energy sector in the S&P is under 4%. Remember, at its peak, it was over 16%. I think you've got a ways to go there.
So I said this morning I drove down to North Florida twice, down and back. How many Teslas did I see?
A lot.
No.
None.
Zero.
Yeah.
Why? Why is that?
You tell me. You can't take it on a long trip. Maybe going through Richmond, a few local people going through places like that.
Yeah, the infrastructure is definitely
South Carolina,
not
North Carolina, in the outlying area, zero.
Just to put a little.
It's 50% where I live. 50% Teslas where I live. I swear.
Energy did nothing for 5 years. I hear everything that Guy and Tim talk about, even Karen. But I still believe it's priced to perfection at this point, where you've had such an enormous outsized run in the energy space right now. I would be taking profits in this.
Well, I think they ought to put chargers in Waffle Houses. That's always been my
Love the Waffle
idea.
House.
Take a half hour, charge your car, get a waffle. It's a perfect synergy if you're listening, Elon.